When we've started dieting, what we've done is we've bypassed this body's natural intuition that it has, this signaling to tell us when we're hungry and when we've had enough. Once the brain started to develop, and especially the frontal lobe, and we start to become aware of body weight and body image, and maybe someone told us comments, or maybe we're supposed to look a certain way, or whatever that brought us to this place of dieting, we started to create all of these rules around food. Welcome back, friends. I'm your host, Sherry Shaban, and with each episode, I am honored to be your coach and guide in the journey to make peace with food, fall in love with fitness, and ultimately yourself. My intention in each episode is to help you release the old story of who you are and step into the one you're always meant to be. We'll challenge conventional diet and fitness culture and understand the importance of tuning out all the shoulds they tell us to do and tuning into our own inner wisdom instead. What you focus on, you create more of. Through these conversations, you'll shift your focus from what you're supposed to be doing to who you want to be, so that health and fitness and ease around food is not just what you do, but who you are. And if you find that this conversation resonates with you today, then I want to invite you to join our free Make Peace with Food Facebook community at myfoodfreedomlifestyle.com, where you can connect with me and my team directly and access all the free trainings and resources we have for you so you can regulate your nervous system and make peace with food. And then also remember to share this episode with someone who you think needs to hear this today. The links are in the show notes. If you're listening to today's episode and you feel like food and dieting and weight and body image has completely taken over your life, has complete power over you, I hope this conversation brings you the comfort and inspiration that you're searching for. And remember, you're not alone. Healing is possible. If you've ever felt like you know exactly what to do, but you just can't bring yourself to do the things that you know to do, then I want to invite you to join me during my 3-day Break the Cycle Masterclass, where I'm going to be talking about how to overcome binge eating and emotional eating and how to regulate your nervous system so that you're no longer engaging in these unwanted eating behaviors. And this isn't a 3-day masterclass on weight loss, by the way. This is a 3-day masterclass on understanding how to break free from the cycle that's resulting in the side effect of weight gain. And that's the big difference, because you know this by now, that repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, is called insanity. You know that dieting doesn't work. You know that it's not about hard discipline and getting yourself to be on another plan or hiring a nutritionist to tell you what to eat. You know all the things. Heck, I bet you can even write a book on all the things. But what you do want to uncover is, why is it that you continue to sabotage? Why does it feel like you're always on the wagon or off the wagon? And that's exactly why I'd love for you to join me during this 3-day Break the Cycle Masterclass that I'm giving completely free. Now you can register at sherryshaban.com/break the cycle. Again, sherryshaban.com/break the cycle. Again, it's completely free to join. And the goal during these 3 days together is to uncover why it is that you continue to engage in unwanted eating behaviors, even though you know exactly what to do. sherryshaban.com/break the cycle. All right, now let's get into it. You know, dieting, and especially just us being in the society where diets are bombarded at us, we have to ask ourselves that simple question: how can we be in this Western society where food is abundant, where information is abundant, and yet we are the ones struggling the most with weight, overweight, obesity-related conditions, and other diseases? And so the reason for that is because we've started dieting. And it's not about the carbs that we're eating, because we can go to a third world country and see that they're eating rice all the time. In fact, almost every single third world country lives off of rice and potatoes and bread, and that is nutritious for us. And so when we've started dieting, what we've done is we've bypassed this body's natural intuition that it has, the signaling to tell us when we're hungry and when we've had enough. And if you're a parent or you're a pet owner, you resonate with this, because when I had my girls And they were hungry when they were babies, they would cry, and you would give them food. And the moment that they felt satisfied, that was it. They would stop eating and they didn't want anymore. You couldn't even give them one more drop. That was it. That's all they wanted. And then once the brain started to develop, and especially the frontal lobe, and we started to become aware of body weight and body image, and maybe someone told us comments, or maybe we're supposed to look a certain way, or whatever that brought us to this place of dieting, we started to create all of these rules around food. There was one diet where we started and told ourselves, okay, by the time it's done, then it's over and I can have whatever I want. And so we started adapting to these restrictive cycles where we would deny ourselves from certain foods, which we demonized bad because the science behind this diet told us it was bad. And when we were done with that diet, we felt confused. We felt denied and deprived of certain foods, and we started eating those things, and then eating them in a way where it started to become out of control. And the more we diet and the more we get into one diet after the other, the more confused we feel, because carbs here are bad, and this one says fats are bad, and this one says animal products are bad. And this one says we shouldn't eat at all. And this one says we shouldn't have any plants because plants are trying to kill us. And now we're in the space where we're super, super confused and super uncomfortable around food. And what happens is we build these out of control eating behavior cycles where we are triggered by stress, where we're triggered by emotion, where we're triggered by restrictions and dieting. And we no longer are in touch with that intuitive capacity that we once had to tell us when it was time to eat and when it wasn't. So I have to admit that I struggled with binge eating for a small period of my life, especially as I got into the nutrition world. And not because I was trying to release weight, but really because I was reading too much. And this diet said this was good and this was bad, and here's the science. And this one said the same thing, and here's the science. And so then I would go through these massive restrictions. I had so many rules around food. And I would find myself, if I would have something that was off limits in that diet or according to my rules, I'd find myself starting to feel out of control. And now that I'm here, I may as well eat all the things because on Monday I'm starting this back up again. And this is really where it's at. So our body is able to tell us, just like it's able to heal itself, what it desires and what it doesn't. And we have to ask ourselves, what are the rules that I am living by, and how have they been serving me? And so this whole anti-diet movement is really coming into that awareness of yourself, that mindfulness, where you are starting to feel how foods affect you instead of what this app is telling you, instead of the amount of macros I should be following or the amount of calories I should be following. And so I work with athletes with my program, Make Peace with Food, where we go through a 6-month period where essentially we rewire the brain entirely. We get to the root cause of what those triggers are that put us in that cycle. And so people who are stress eating, emotional eating, binge eating, who have a disordered eating pattern are able to overcome this. And what's so interesting is that it has nothing to do with food and exercise. That is not the solution. But the solution is really uncovering those emotions and the triggers and the traumas that have brought us to that place where we're truly looking for an immediate source of pleasure and a cover up for not being able to handle a particular emotion that we are going through.